Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Dogs. I'm Susan Ellen Medium. I'm an evidential psychic medium and animal communicator. This podcast is a place to share insights into the spirit world and soulful stories of animals and what they can teach us about a life aligned with love. So grab your mug and let's dive into some magic together.
You? Good, Susan. How are you today?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you. So, animals knowing first, Susan, of signs and synchronicities.
Yeah, I love that. So it's a frequency. They live on frequency, just like we do, but we're just not as aware of it unless we're meditating every day. And their frequency is so high because, as you know, when you take away the voice and other things, and plus they've been here eons and eons, they're here to feel things before we feel things. So they generally sense changes in the environment, even if it's miles away, or changes in our body. So they sense it before we sense it. And I think that's where this great question comes in. They'll feel energetic shifts. I mean, I heard this, I may have discussed it before, but I heard this story where a German shepherd put his head on his mom's pregnant belly. And that was an incredible story. And he was alerting her to an issue that was happening in her belly with her pregnancy. Why do they sense things before humans do? I think they sense things because, again, they're on a frequency that's different than ours. Mm-hmm. And, you know, unless you're sitting in meditation daily for significant amount of time, you're not going to have that same frequency. And animals are definitely naturally much more spiritually attuned than people. They're attuned because they feel the spirit world more than us. They could be in a room. They can sense your loved one. When I've had conversations with dogs or cats, they have told me about an energy present on the couch. And that energy that they talk about is generally a deceased loved one, a grandmother, a mom. They talk about it in detail. Mm-hmm. And then my client will say, yes, that's true. My grandmother and I were very close. And they'll talk about what the grandmother did, like crochet. The dog will tell me. And sometimes the grandmother is actually present in the animal reading and will also tell me these things, which I think is really, really cool.
So the animal can also bring in your loved one together.
Exactly.
That's really nice. So that's pretty much like they are taking care of one another.
Exactly. And it's always our loved one in the spirit world. Even if we didn't have a great relationship with them here, they make up for it in the spirit world. I think I spoke about this before. I had a visual. It was definitely spirit. It was definitely the veil had lifted at that moment. When my spirits try to connect with me, it is so random. And I think it was about 3 months after my French bulldog, Rosie, had passed. And I think people will relate to this. I was in the car with my husband. I was just looking out the window. We weren't talking. The radio wasn't on. And it happened in a flash and it was very fast. And my sister, who I always had a very, very difficult relationship with, she was holding Rosie, and Rosie was looking down through the veil at me. And it was so jarring because I see my sister holding my dog, who I had a very tough relationship with. And everybody would say, oh, well, you're a medium. You know that she's trying to make up to you in spirit, which she couldn't do here. But I'm a human being. And I still have that relationship with my sister and the memories of that, right? Mm-hmm. And Rosie could see me and her ears were forward, and it made me a little uncomfortable because I was thinking, she's looking at me like, why are you there and I'm here? Like, I want to be with you.
Yeah.
But she was still in the in between. It was in the in between of the worlds. And the in between is, and I speak about this a lot, for the first 49 days. So it was approximately 3 months, but I don't think we had hit the 3 month mark since the time she had passed. They're in the in between and they're relatively still with us. So I always say to my clients, whether they've lost a pet or a person in the spirit world, what you want to do is ask them for what you would like them to bring to the higher frequency, what you'd like to have happen in your life, because they're really around you, seeing your life on a day-to-day basis. Like they see what you're going through, Maria. They see what I'm going through. And they're really there to watch and really experience us. And I also felt that when my brother passed to spirit, I felt him really close and around me. And we were having conversations before he transitioned. Now, and when people and animals transition, it doesn't mean they're not bouncing around with us. They totally are. They're feeling us, they're seeing us, and they're sensing us. I did a reading for a young woman, and her dog passed to spirit. And in the very beginning of the reading, the dog came in stretching his back. It was a larger breed dog on a tree. And I said, he's stretching his back on a tree. And she did not connect the dots. And later she said to me, did he see what we did for him when he passed? And I said, did it have something to do with trees? And she said, yes. And I said, remember in the beginning, he came in stretching on a tree. But they also give me information. You know, I'm a evidential psychic medium. So if you want to call that the psychic work, but they give me information and impress upon me the future and what the future holds at moments in a very subtle and loving way, not in a kind of gypsy weird way. Excuse my voice today. I said to her, are you pregnant or are you going to have a baby? And she said, I'm going to try very soon. I said, well, do you want to know the sex? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, they're showing me he's in a blue blanket, the spirit world, the dog, her loved ones. And then I said, why am I hearing Oliver? And she got very emotional. Did you see that clip?
Yes.
She got really emotional and she said, that's the name that I would name my son if I had a son. So it's already like in the details of the dog's life and what he's bringing me and through. And dogs also feel energetic shifts before major life changes. Wow, 1,000 years ago when I first started this, a girl called me for a reading and I said, your dog's worried you're going to move. And she thought, oh, this girl is not, the real McCoy or whatever. Because she said, why didn't I pick up that they had just moved? Well, guess what? A year later, she contacted me on Facebook and said, I really thought you were a fake, but after you asked, you were worried, my dog was worried we're moving again. Well, the truth was she fell in love with a man in Croatia and they all moved to Croatia.
Wow.
Isn't that the craziest? And she had just moved to another house in LA. Like, we can't make this up. We cannot make this up. So I trust what I'm getting, even if it doesn't happen in the moment that you think it should happen. I really do trust the spirit world.
Yeah, that's very evidential. I mean, with the baby blanket and all the signs, it's almost like, do you get visions? Do they show you pictures? Are they telling you directly?
In the moment that it's happening, I can't recollect how I'm getting it, but I would say all the things. I can taste it. I can hear it. I feel it in my body. I am what I think I am, which is an emotional medium. So I'm very empathic and I feel things on a deeper level in all my clairs. I can hear it, I see it in my mind, I could feel it in my body. And that's, I think, the most important thing is they get a message. That's really the truth of it all. What I love about the animal world is they give us these beautiful signs and synchronicities. I have a lot of fun with my pug, Penny,
Mm-hmm.
and I shoot some videos with her. And she's so animated in some of them. And I always know when she's into it, her energy and frequency are really into it. She knows when she needs to make people laugh out there. And she is so animated during these times when there's somebody watching this video that needs it. I'm just telling you, I just know it. And she is crazy animated. Like I put my face by her face. She acts like she's going to bite me. She'll open her mouth really big and stick her tongue out. These are the signs from her that she's
Mm-hmm.
having an experience with me. Other times I'll put her on my lap and I'll choose to do a video with her. They're not as experiential for either one of us. She's half asleep. You know, it's like right
Mm-hmm.
after breakfast. And I could see that maybe she's just supposed to sit on my lap and be a part of my little Instagram video, as opposed to really needing to make somebody out there super, super happy.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows. It's like, and that's my little vignette with her. This is another episode of Penelope Pug, and she knows it because she knows it. You know, she just knows. Sacred pet soul contracts. That's my favorite subject
Mm-hmm.
because they really, really come in for specific purpose in our lives. They find us when a client has lost a pet. They're very concerned that they will miss the signs and symbols of the right pet coming to them. I want to discuss in the
Ah.
next podcast about reincarnation and the right pet coming to you. And please comment on my Instagram and let me know that you heard this podcast and let me know that this made sense to you. Things that are for you can't miss you. The pets that are supposed to be in your life come into your life. There's absolutely no mistake. There's no mistake. They can't miss you. You can't miss them. And if you think back on when an animal showed up, whether on a Facebook post or at your front door, or you're driving down the street and the animal isn't microchipped and you've done everything to find its owner. And I mean everything. We need to like find the owner first before we decide to keep a pet,
Mm-hmm.
because that family could be frantically searching. So it's kind of like, you know, and when I mean kind of like, you know, you really do know, because that animal will start acting as if it's meant to be with you. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Or the
Yes.
signs and symbols of you take out a treat and it's their favorite thing in the world and they go ballistic. And it's the same treat that your other dog completely lost its mind over.
Over.
does,
Yes.
does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. It's a similarity of
Remembering. It's
remembering.
remembering
Yes.
their former life with you. So that's a little tidbit of reincarnation. If you want more, listen to the next episode because we're going to dive into the reincarnation episode. But if a dog is meant and is part of your soul family, there's also an incredible knowing with that
Mm-hmm.
dog and why they came in. And I often say an animal is supposed to be with you from the beginning to the end of its life because they're there for a soul mission. And I try to help people keep their dogs if they're moving and they think they can't take it. There's always ways to try to keep a dog or a cat with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't judge. I mean, there are people that have said, no, I'm taking care of my elderly aunt and my uncle. I can't have a pit bull in the house. It's too much work. And I get it. But the idea is we try to keep the animal with the person that they have found
Mm-hmm.
forever till the end.
Oh,
Because
that's
the whole
beautiful.
soul family thing is a real thing that we travel in the same bunch of souls and we reincarnate together again, but different relationships,
Different missions.
different relationships,
Mm-hmm.
all the things, all the things.
That's so fascinating. I love that.
I do too, because
Mm-hmm.
it helps me to remember I'm going to be with Rosie again in the next life. Even though she's with me, she's here. I feel her in the spirit world helping me, but she's
Mm-hmm.
always with me.
So, this soul recognition, do you see that when you look into the dog's eyes
When you look into a dog's eyes,
or
I,
cat? Mm-hmm.
yeah, anything, any
Yeah.
animal that we have, there is always a divinity in the soul of the pet and in through the eyes. And I think most people that have pets would definitely say that that's a thing. There's a connection. We all know and feel that connection. That's why we are crazy for our animals and would do anything for our beloved creatures.
Thank you, Susan. Let everyone know out there where they can find you, Susan, where you can be reached.
I love, love, love Instagram at Susan Allen Medium and Facebook. I'm Susan Allen Medium. And please don't forget to rate and review the podcast, no matter where you listen, Spotify and Apple, because I read all of them and I will answer you. Thanks for joining me for another episode with Coffee with Dogs. I'm your host, Susan Allen Medium, and I would love for you to write and review the podcast wherever you listen. This helps everyone find me. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. From my soul to yours, and from our animals to us all. Until we meet again.